What took a total of 3 years to come out, we now have commentated in 3 days consecutively. Welcome, my friends, to The Hobbit, Part 3, The Battle of the Five Armies, the Extended, Directors, Uncut, Holy Erecta, Full
But
Vision.
It's
But I thought,
ironic because these being the extended cut, it's still shorter than the actual theatrical cut of the longer of the movies, like say Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
but I thought, but I thought the film was called.
No,
What
it
was it was
wasn't,
called?
Lives.
There and
We
Back
ran this
again.
joke. We ran this joke into the ground. If you want to keep
Okay,
beating
okay,
that
okay,
dead
okay.
horse,
Okay, I'll admit I'm not aware of this one.
but Lives mentioned it multiple times. In order to tie up with the actual English name of the book, this last one was supposed to be called "There and Back Again." Makes sense. What was the reason, Lives, why they changed it? Was it Warner Bros. Throwing an incipit again?
They changed it because they
Shut
changed
up.
it.
Okay. All right
So,
then.
yeah. Okay, and like I said, apparently the critics loved this movie the best out of the bunch, but when it comes to what I've heard from people saying, reception of this movie is very split. Like, it's kind of ironic. The movie that got the best positive reception is the one that's arguably the most controversial out of the three. And that is because, well, where we are in the story, from what I understand, we're pretty much at, like, what would be, like, the last 2 or 3 chapters of The Hobbit here.
Pretty
Stretched
much.
out into a nearly 3 hour long movie.
Mind you, the book condenses some stuff, and I would have to admit, some of the final stuff of the book gets actually wrapped up and condensed. Arguably, the titular Battle of Five Armies is surprisingly anticlimactic for the way it's narrated. So they wanted to, I probably Warner Bros. Wanted to capitalize and have a bigger action scene to recreate the battle. One of the battles, like say the Battle of Minas Tirith, for example. So that thought process is there, but as you will see, this comes at the cost of making stuff up all over the place. But
Ironically,
we can
this is apparently the only one of these 3 Hobbit films that Tio is actually most annoyed by, from what he said.
You'll see in due time. Let's just start.
Alright,
Alright,
let's go.
then.
Stop on the brothers / new lines.
The transitioning one, as usual. Go
And
ahead,
here we
Jova.
go in 3, 2, 1, click. But yeah,
As you,
I'll admit, unlike with our Lord of the Rings trilogy, we actually managed to do this days consecutively. So, okay, so Tio, since you were the
Yeah.
one who probably saw these in theaters out of the
no,
three-
I wasn't. Remember, Jova. For all three, reminder that for all three, I couldn't for one reason or another.
Okay, sorry. Let me rephrase. You were the one out of the 3 of us who actually saw these movies around the time that they came out on theater or DVD.
Later, yes,
Yes,
but only the theatrical cut. Remember, apparently this is the movie that Jackson mentions that the theatrical cut is way better than the extended cut is better than the theatrical cut. So
Oh, really?
I actually do wonder. Like I said, I haven't seen these movies in quite a bit, and I haven't seen the extended cut, so I have no idea what the major differences are. There is part of the movie that I actually genuinely enjoy, but it's contained, as you will see.
So I have this to ask then. Compared to, watching these movies by like a year's bout of spreading, how does it feel seeing them back to back to back?
Oh no, it's
now?
technically better. Well, like I said, it's similar to the Lord of the Rings or say the Star Wars movies. Though unintentionally, some of these sagas are much better enjoyed to view in marathon format. This is why also I don't really have problems with Pirates of the Caribbean Part 2 and 3, because if you see them
Yeah.
as one giant movie
Okay.
together, it's perfectly fine.
Previously on
I
The Hobbit.
agree.
We're getting Stephen Fry GTFOing from the movie.
Wow.
Because in the moment of crisis, he decided to abandon the city like a coward, which is something that happens in the book. The only thing that they change is the fact that they describe his boat as the most luxurious of them all. The translation here is that the only one that doesn't seem like it's crawling, into pieces. Also, Toriel, Evangeline, we're filming.
Come on, wake up, get out there.
That's one thing that I noticed. If I recall correctly, much like with Return of the King, we don't really get that many new characters. Only probably one or two, actually. Because being a combination of everything, we only get resolution for all the others.
Well, again, that's
I
the
don't
thing.
think. Well, at this point, does the series need any more new characters?
Much like with Return of the King, not really.
And like I said, like, aren't we sort of like, okay, book-wise, aren't we, like, nearing the end, essentially?
Mostly the 3/4 mark.
Okay, then. So okay, so would you argue that there is enough material in the book to make a movie this long out of at this point?
No. While I do agree that Battle of the Five Armies could have been extended as a portion, not enough to make a third movie. 2 movies of longer duration, yes, definitely. Anyway, Smaugh, like you mentioned, decided to take his frustration, being his edgelord that he is, onto Laketown.
Oh dear.
Bard, just no. If there's Orlando Bloom in town, you can ask him to actually use his skills to, remove the door. Oh wait, wrong movie. Damn it.
Also, for as great as Legolas is, I don't think even he can easily take down a dragon.
He's OP, Jova. He probably would find a way.
Oh, classy.
Again, there's also this thing that I mentioned that, remember, being technically a prequel and all, this is still supposedly the point where mankind is divided without a guide, so corruptible,
Yeah, fuck you.
Oh,
that's a joke from the Great Mouse Detective, by the way.
and he's about to get necked, ain't he? Oh,
Poor Stephen Fry. He deserves
Okay.
better.
I thought he shouldn't be necked now.
okay, so he's actually fine after that.
Again, this is also where the entire prophecy with the Black Arrow comes to bite the movie in the ass, because like he kept saying, in the source material, Bard manages to take out Smaug thanks to his traditional bow and arrow. The idea of a Black Arrow is that it's a literal straight arrow, but no, we need to make it a big deal that it's a ballista arrow here, projectiles.
Why even?
Which
did
makes
they
no
do
sense
that?
for
Well,
the entire city either, to be honest.
I guess, to be fair, the reason they may have done that was because it would be a bit harder to believe that a simple bow and arrow would be able to reach Smaug.
Not really. The
Yes?
entire point of his weak point is that it can be trespassed by anything if it's, calculated at the right angle. But whatever. Again, they also changed how his actual scales work in terms of where the weak point is.
Well, yeah, we kind of screwed this one up.
Do you remember that bit in the narration at the beginning of the First Order? We had many years of peace. Also, there was this giant battle somewhere, but we don't talk about that.
To be fair, the Europeans came after this, so.
So, Foreign, what do you have to say for yourself, my dude?
Oh, Thorin will have his own story arc in this movie.
Wait.
Boy, he will have.
Wait. Foreign will have another arc? Well, okay, he said...
not another, but, the continuation of something we already started seeing.
You don't sound too happy about that for some reason.
Let's just say that this movie, you have seen it already starting previously, but this movie will get very ambitious with its morale.
Oh, boy.
Alright, Tio.
Yes.
What are your thoughts, actually, in regards to adaptations of stuff adding in bits and pieces of its own?
If the actual story still gets adapted in its entirety and the additions actually don't hurt the actual material where they are, fine by me, to be honest. A good example is the Final Fantasy VII Remake, minus the portion that we already know. Like, again, let's talk about the actual story that there is, stuff that's added, like, say, Barret wearing sunglasses, for example, why did he need to do that? Why did he cut whatever? Or, for example, the way Cloud gets his dress, and how reworked that section technically is.
And
for
also
example.
that bit that they're adding with Yuffie and the
But we still have to. By the time we're recording, obviously Interlude still hasn't come out yet, so we'll have to see how that turns out. But I'm optimistic on that front.
I mean, at the very least, it is an example of them adding in context or
Yes,
bits in.
but basically stick with that, Dweebs. Like, again, my main concern is that the added stuff does not really have to, outright replace retcon or claim that the source material was bad, unless it's like a real bad example, like, say, potentially like a racist joke that gets replaced with something more tame. That makes more sense, But if instead it's, but for example, one thing that this series of movie does, that also, like I mentioned, and like Linkara mentioned, is the fact that Bard gets properly foreshadowed, which is good because otherwise in the book he just shows up at this point. He was described as one of the people of Laketown, but that was literally it.
Maybe the
So
idea...
here, giving me an actual character is actually a good thing. Much less, it's the whole thing about smuggling and this animosity that there is between him and the town master.
I do get the feeling that all this is in addition to the fact that they now made it that you needed one of those special lances to pierce Smaugh's skin.
Yeah, also his family. I don't even remember if his family was a thing in the book, to be honest. Here they probably added for the sake of, the sake of creating conflict. Also, you may notice something. Smaugh hasn't spoken that much yet.
Oh, now he's speaking.
Benedict was too, busy to speak properly for a long time.
I guess he was sort of ping-ponging between this and his Doctor Strange voice.
Doctor Strange would have been for another 2 years.
Well, I get the feeling that it was at the very least in the works for quite some time, if I recall correctly.
True.
I know that we knew about it at least since 2013.
Nobody came. Please don't.
Please,
Bard, what are you doing?
Oh god, he's gonna Looney Tunes it.
Make it count. Right, I forgot he's using his son as, part of a bow. Kind of like it's a distorted will and tell.
Stay still, stud. Because trust me, this could hurt.
If you keep your mouth open, I'm pretty sure there's also another thing. Bard notices the wound here. In the book is actually one of the birds that were talked about in the previous movie that tells him, about it, because it's a Chekhov's gun that Bilbo told to the bird to go around and tell someone about the weak spot, and this is how Bard learns about it. Here he just notices it, which means that Bilbo noticing it before was completely pointless.
He could have told his son
to
shank. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Smaugh is one shot by this.
So...
I mean, they did get his weak spot.
For massive damage.
But that's the thing, though, Dlibs. That's the thing, though, to think about it. Smaugh was, for all intents and purposes, the main goal of the story. Like, okay...
So who's the main bad guy now, then?
Well, okay, here's my question. Why not just have his death happen in the second movie and then, I guess, just then hint at the Battle of the Five Armies for the next one?
I got it. In these extended versions, at least, they're trying to duplicate... They're trying to duplicate Saruman's death in the extended version of the third film.
I'm sorry. Did somebody order a quarter-pound helping of karma on top of that? Scales included?
Not enough crispy. God,
That's what I was saying. I think they were trying to duplicate how Saruman died in the third film.
There's also another thing. Now the dwarves immediately notice the fact that Smaugh died because the ravens are basically telling them. In the book, it's left much more ambiguous. Essentially, we see the action from the dwarves' perspective because they get trapped. They don't have the confrontation we have seen previously. So they're trapped inside the Lonely Mountain.
Wow.
Also, we have a title.
So the title pretty much happens after, again, the main villain was dead. Again, now, okay.
Meanwhile, on the Necromancer...
I guess Sauron's not going to be pleased about this.
No.
Meanwhile, Gandalf is
enjoying his ride at the torture chamber.
Okay, so Tio, question: Is this how it went in the book? Like after Smaug died, there was
not complete. That's sorry, go on.
Like, okay, was it after Smaug died that then we had like a whole bunch of other action, or did Smaug die much closer towards the end of the book?
No. No, the Smaug dies around the 3/4 mark, like he said. Like he mentioned in Lord of the Rings too. Tolkien was not a conventional writer. He technically wrote an entire new climax after Smaug dies, which is the Battle of the Five Armies.
Holy cow, Alfred's alive.
I have no idea.
Well, you know what? To be fair, I guess the Master technically saved him by throwing him out of his boat.
Please stop yelling. If there's one thing that I can't stand is child characters yelling all the time. Well, you're not helping either.
Well, I mean, they're not very... Well, that's the thing, though. A lot of child actors are very good at it.
It reminds me of that, what was that, World War Z, where the little children character, they're supposed to be, Brad Pitt's daughters, keep shouting all the time. It's so annoying.
That said, Tio. Let's say we were the filmmakers. Would you agree that maybe it might have been a better idea to have Smaug's death be simultaneous with the titular Battle of the Five Armies? Because like you said,
potentially, but it would have changed way too much. Like you said, it's still technically odd on a narrative perspective, but it is the envision of the author of Tolkien. So I think that's the way that it should be represented. And Jackson having his usual nerd boner, I get the idea that he wanted.
So basically what I'm getting from you is that, a lot of this could have just been condensed into the second film, and this should have been a duology.
Like I said, yes.
Hey,
and also, apparently I checked, tie-in toy lines suggest that the part with Mirkwood was supposed to happen in the first movie, complete with encountering, Tauriel and Legolas, because toy lines were made for that.
Of course.
So I get the idea that the Mirkwood was supposed to be in the first movie, and the actual section would have been comprised with, the Death of Smaug and the Battle with Five Armies. But then Warner Bros. Was like, no, let's divide it more.
So I guess that's it for the dwarves and the elves then. Right?
Yeah, kinda. Let's just say that the love story is at least less prevalent here.
Well, then what was even the point then? Because it doesn't feel like anything really came of the romance.
Jova, you're really questioning the sense of an executive meddling decision?
Yes, I am. Because, you know what? Okay, to be fair, sometimes executive mandates can help. Sometimes they can do good. But, yeah, true, more often than not they don't. But all the same, try to be better.
But anyway, like I said, in the book, we see the action from the dwarf's perspective. Again, when they get trapped, they timidly wait a bit and then go check the Lonely Mountain. We see that nobody's there. We wonder what happened. And then we reprise the action as a flashback on the attack on Laketown, and we see Smaug's death. So the reader connects and says, oh, that's why it happened. Yeah, don't. Teleport's behind you.
Don't.
If that makes you shout less, I'm by me.
But yeah, I mean, okay, look. So here's the thing. This legit feels like it could have just been in that other movie. Like, I mean, at least with Dead Man's Chest and World's End, enough different stuff happens between those two movies that I get why they were split into different
Arguably,
movies.
stuff happens off screen that should have been in the movies too.
Oh, I agree with that. Oh, ha ha ha. Yeah, way to try and turn towards favor.
Yeah, fuck off.
Right.
Yeah, let's just. You know what this character reminds me? Mentally Lard in the first, In the Name of the King movie.
Well, crud, yeah, he pretty much took their treasury.
Mongrel? Really? Okay, Jackson, I know that you got New Zealanders and Aussies in here, probably is extra, but Mongrel is not an insult that should be thrown in the Middle Earth. Yes, they actually went there. Fuck off.
Well, dang.
Wait, he's dead.
No, he's not dead
No,
yet.
not yet.
Oh, hey,
They were just
doggo.
killed by that.
It's a wolf. It looked a bit confused, though.
I guess it's more of a real wolf than what Frozen had.
Ooh, 2010. Meanwhile,
Mountain shots. So, yeah, Smaug's dead. Now, granted, I've read the book, so I know that there's more to come, but yeah, narratively speaking, this kind
the
of...
quest should be over. You won.
Yeah, like, okay, yeah.
It's also very anticlimactic because, like I said, in the book, Smaug doesn't really have a confrontation with the main part of the dwarves. It gets killed off by other people entirely, which, you know, makes the role of Thorin and Bilbo, the Thorin's group and Bilbo, a bit even pointless. Sure, they're the instigator of that, but that's one thing that I said that I liked from the previous movie, the actual confrontation that they have in the main hall. It shows a bit of creativity, the usage of the terrain to their advantage, and it gives them, you know, something to do against the dragon. Not to mention, it gives Smaug a bit more screen time.
I guess it is a bit of a shame, though, that ultimately it doesn't do anything. Like, if it were me, I would have at least had the gold melting on him have done damage rather than just piss him off.
And yes, that's our main plot for Thorin. He's greed, he's getting again the best of him.
Oh, this.
Oh boy.
I thought
Basically, the movie will keep hammering on that.
So, the treasure to him is essentially like what the ring was to Frodo. Got it.
Pretty much. The one thing that still hasn't been found, if I recall correctly, is the Arkenstone.
Okay, here's my problem. I thought they already suggested that Thorin had gotten over this in the second movie when, you know, he decided to help the guys against Smaug.
Pajova, we need conflict again.
Was this a thing in the book?
No, the whole greed thing is not present at all. Thorin is just a grumpy asshole on his own, you know.
But Tio, the influence of the place is making him sick.
Again, it's so dumb.
And apparently,
so dumb.
Apparently only him, because it's something inherited by the royals with this Game of Thrones crap.
Never mind the fact that the books describe all dwarves as being potentially subjected to greed of like this.
No, it's just foreign, though, here.
Only nobility. Like, it's so dumb.
So what, is he gonna be the villain now?
More like it's not gonna be helpful for the time being. Yeet!
Thanks? What? You know, maybe this might have weighed more if we hadn't already spent a good portion in this place. But hey, it's okay. We're all home.
The party's united.
And again, all alive. That's impressive. Well, they're still
Again,
looking for
sir,
the Zestone.
The Arkenstone, yes. Remember, that's the most coveted treasure of all.
Wouldn't it just suck if Smaugh swallowed it while he was chasing Bilbo?
Thankfully, no.
So, yeah, guys. Anyone want to go out for a burrito?
Apparently, they did found some food here. Wonder what that
Wow.
could be.
How that food has
I
been
mean, if
okay.
it's honey, I guess it works because it does, preserve itself for hundreds of years. But
And meanwhile, Bilbo looks like he's going, okay, so now what?
More like he's thinking what to do with Thorin,
Eh?
the Arkenstone.
You're only thinking back to that now, Bilbo? The way Thorin was acting around the treasure didn't make you think, hey, maybe I should
He
address
took it
that.
then
Oh.
at that point. Now, in the book, he actually takes it here at this point.
But-
His ideal is, well, the dwarves did in the contract, I can take a part of a treasure for myself, so I'll take the Arkenstone because it's not specified. And the idea behind the actual idea behind this is that if I keep it for myself, Thorin should actually behave more rationally.
Why do I get the feeling this is going to backfire?
Piggy.
It's so weird seeing Orlando Bloom and Luke Evans together again.
Wow, they've been in some of it before.
Yeah, 2011 Musketeers.
I haven't seen that one.
It's a good one. It's weird, but good.
Can you just leave? Yeah, I'll
Now
get yourself
pitch in.
useful.
See, why is he against this one woman?
No, remember, again, opportunist, so he's cartoonishly opportunist. So Legolas is telling Bard the idea, get there first if you want to have a chance. Remember, okay, in the book is more like the fact that Smaugh's death created a power vacuum, which the goblins tried to take advantage of. In here, it's simply for the fact we try to combine the two plotlines by saying that the necromancer just sends the army that he was creating back there towards the Lonely Mountain instead of using it against Ron or Gondor.
I suppose, to be fair to the film trilogy, they have done a better job of foreshadowing this than the book did, from what you tell me, because it sounds like with the book, this whole Battle of the Five Armies scene was more so just a thing that happened, because Smaugh was dead, as opposed to something that was a part of Sauron's plans all along.
Who's gonna behead her?
It's
No,
his son,
it's still his
dudes.
son. Favoritism and all. Again, like he said, in the book instead he's Bolg the one guiding, and Azog was supposed to be dead all along. Here they just wanted to create a recurring bad guy to have it a bit more meat to its characterization.
But wait, okay, so the orcs, that's one army, so what are gonna be the other four armies, I wonder?
Okay, they cheated a bit because you will see later. Three armies are on one side, the dwarves, elves, and humans. On the others is the orcs / goblins and the wargs.
Oh, yeah, that is kind of cheating.
Of course. Why? Why?
Because she's boring.
To fuck off.
So, what, is she banished because she dared to love? Wait, or is this part of his... Is it part of his father's point to make sure that she doesn't, entice him because he knows Legolas has feelings for her, even though we haven't seen a goddamn hint of Legolas having feelings for her? Like, that's the thing. For a love triangle, okay, I get there being feelings between Torio and Keely, but I didn't see Legolas so much as bat an eye in her direction romance-wise. Like, Tio, did I miss something, or is it literally just them trying that hard for a love triangle?
That, again, executive handling.
Like, well, you know what? Maybe that's just a result in them really not wanting to do it. Also, Gandalf has literally spent, so far, this much time in that cage.
Are you sure this isn't Ian McKellen after maybe he protested against the script?
What, the romance? So, Radagast, what are you doing?
He is receiving the message. Remember, no cell phones, so...
No talking! And he's
Please
dead.
be gentle. Yeah, remember, Gandalf possessed one of the rings of the elves. Jesus.
Ow!
Power bomb. Yeah, one of them is Galadriel is one of them. The other I forgot where it is.
Watch your step. Seriously, you're walking barefoot there, miss.
I'm sure Tarantino is loving this scene.
No, by all means, don't hurry up, Gadriel. It's only my fingers on the line. Seriously, does Galadriel just not know how to run?
I cannot run in what I am wearing, obviously.
Because you forgot that's Gandalf's main real name.
Really? Oh snap,
Yeah.
she was not bluffing.
Again, the best thing about adapting the White Council story arc against the Necromancer, you get to see Saruman, Gandalf, and Galadriel kicking ass legitimately.
Holy cow, dudes, we get to see Galadriel do stuff.
Yeah, and it's only so far
Also Elrond,
weakest film in the whole saga.
That too, yeah. But I mean, I feel like we saw Eldron do some stuff in the
at the flashback at the beginning during the Second Age battle against Sauron.
Also, yes, carrying him in the pizza.
There we are, the Nazguls.
Well, cried.
This is a problem.
If she has to get out of this, she's got to be in the next film.
You'd think Gandalf was dead with the way she's carrying him. Also, like I said, the elves don't get to speak a damn thing considering how Sauron himself is an elf.
It's a bit more complicated. Sauron is more like a demigod himself, but it's essentially being renegated. There's Elrond with a badass new armor, mind you.
I'll say.
There's Saruman. There you go. Again, the last role in his career, Christopher Lee gets to legitimately kick ass.
You know, yeah, for all the faults this movie may have, I will definitely give it points for this. So, was this bit in the book, or is this something new for the film?
Like I said, the appendages, the entire story arc against the Necromancer. Gets to see the White Council storming Dol Guldur, having to repel the Nazgûls, and defeating the Necromancer, which escapes to Mordor.
Yeah.
Saruman dismisses the whole thing as, no, it's nothing, our work here is done and everything. But Gandalf starts suspecting that something more is wrong.
Yeah, not gonna lie, this is pretty awesome.
My only complaint is that it's right there at the beginning. It probably would have worked better a bit later down the line.
Yeah,
Then again, we do need
it's pretty cool.
we do need it to happen now because after this Gandalf will reunite with Bilbo and the others.
So, yeah, it really does feel like this could have been something that was implemented into the second film, while a lot of the second film's more important stuff could have been put into the first film, which had, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of dead air in retrospect. So, I think from what I'm getting from this trilogy, too, is that the first film is the weakest link so far. Well, in the sense that it had the biggest pacing problem, where a lot of its emptier could have been filled with aspects in the second film, which could have, well, yeah, then we wouldn't have needed this third film.
Yeah, it's a bit more complicated, but there has been in also the appendages a hint of an idea of Gandalf being potentially in love with Galadriel, but it's only touched briefly upon, so there's that.
Yeah, and we've seen the other movies. That's
We
not
know.
going to get followed up on.
We know everyone's
Bye.
gonna survive here anyway. Oh, yeah.
Oh no, it becomes the ring.
Okay, that is something. That's the thing with prequels. Just because we know something's going to happen doesn't mean it doesn't stop any cool moments.
Oh,
I
no,
was
no, no,
talking
no,
to
no,
this
no, no,
yesterday to Joe about commentary. I do believe there is valid, in peace, which is I like everything that I said of commentary. One reason why I still am interested in the Black Widow movie.
Oh, yeah. Like, okay, look, yeah. A prequel does
Oof.
not automatically have to be bad. And you know what? Hey, if you're lucky, sometimes
Well, shit. Saruman, that's not the time.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, Galadriel is pissed. Again,
Whoa.
one of the firstborn, she has some pretty nifty tools at her disposal.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be here yet. So far.
And now you can see why it would have been a bad idea to have
And-
given her the ring for the journey. Cause
And she's
man,
she's also using the Light of Elendil, the tool that Frodo used in the third Rings movie. Also, seizure warning.
Also, yes, I see you can use noise filters. Good for you.
Oof.
Wow, I guess Sauron.
And there you go. He retreats to Mordor. I'm sure we'll never see him again. You played yourself, son. No.
And I will never mention these events in the next movie.
You know, Elrond was right.
The irony.
Yeah, look, I disagree with Elrond a lot in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. He was goddamn right this time. And yeah, leave
And
Sauron
that's the
to
last-
you.
That's ironic. That's the last thing we see of Saruman, if I recall correctly. But it's also ironic to remember. Elrond was also the one that suggested the ring to be destroyed from Isildur. When Isildur did nothing, Elrond just stood there and let him go.
Yeah. Like, Elrond, I get that you tried. Well, no, you didn't really try to stop him. You just yelled at him. Like, come on, Elrond. You could have maybe have tackled the guy.
And there you go. The stuff that was in the Lord of the Rings trilogy is a modified version of the one from Radagast.
I hope this doesn't mean Radagast dies.
No, Radagast was present, technically speaking, in Fellowship of the Ring, but only as a passing cameo.
Is this
He's the
last
one
we see
who
of-
I
Is this the
think
last we
so.
see of Sylvester McCoy?
I think so. He's the one who alerts Gwahir to free, to free Gandalf from Ortank.
So, I wonder, if he did find the stone, would that actually cure it?
No, Bilbo's reasoning is that will not be enough. He will just focus on something else, and the situation will escalate only worse.
No, see, I get that that's Bilbo's reasoning, but is it like love sickness in One Piece, where if he does get the bout of his desire, it would cure it?
No, not really. Remember, this is still something that the movie makes up anyway, so I'm not. Again, I didn't treat it that much because I do believe it's a weak excuse pulled out of ass.
It does. I guess that's their way to continue the tension since, again, Smaugh is dead. And by continue the tension, I mean continue the tension for these characters. Like, we, the audience, know that they're supposed to be technically a bit more, but you know, if the characters don't feel like they're in danger, it can be hard to, you know, feel engaged. So, of course, the characters probably need this whole Arkenstone thing to, I guess, make them feel that something's not right.
Dragon sickness?
What? Come again? Oh, I get it. It's because dragons are greedy, Dwibs.
Mm-hmm.
Are they? I thought dragons were mainly bloodthirsty.
No, they're also greedy. Remember, Dwaves, it's a common thing in medieval culture, the idea that a dragon will pillage something and then put everything into his nest and guard it ferociously because of a desire or material need, even if they're pointless to him.
There are several different archetypes of dragon. There are the noble, heroic dragons. There are the greedy.
Dungeons and Dragons has an entire set of different moralities based purely on their colors. Yes, really.
I think it was the red ones that were the heroic ones, and the green.
No, on the contrary, the red are some of the most ferocious.
So what color were the heroic
D&D
ones?
operated on a very basic color association in a sense that the more warm colors are the more aggressive one, while the colder colors tend to be instead the more gentle and noble one, like say blue, silver, white, and so on. I don't know how much has changed in recent years, to be honest. Uh-oh.
A fake out?
A nut.
So why was he hesitant about it?
He's indirectly insulting him. He's holding a nut and he's calling him a nut.
This is a plot point for a scene that, if I recall correctly, was deleted even from the extended cut. I will mention it later.
Keep it here then.
Well,
because it's always a thing in the book, the idea that Bilbo gets a nut that wants to plant back in the Shire.
So basically that fake out was just so that we could have this bit. Got it.
Seriously, it's like that. It's like, okay, so now we're resolving...
It's also to showcase one case where Thorin seems like he's getting back to his old self.
So now we're resorting to tactics from Casino Royale 1966, where they leave stuff in, even though you cut out earlier scenes that led up to it, so it doesn't make any sense.
So it's time for some negotiations. Hooray!
Again, is this stuff that was in the book, or is this stuff that we had to add?
Again, all the dragon sickness thing is from here.
No, I get that. But I mean, the next segment with the town trying to get in there.
Yes, sir. Yes, actually, the entire focus of what the setup for the Battle of Five Armies is that first the men of Dale, the Laketown arrive, then the elves, then a contingent of dwarves, and then the goblin will show up. The goblin will show up.
Oh, I forget who. So dwarves, humans, elves...
The dwarves are led by someone we haven't seen yet.
If I recall correctly, so the goblins will be on the orc side, won't they?
Well, they're technically counted as one thing, because back then Tolkien did not distinguish that much between orcs and goblins, so he just referred to them as one generic race.
Wait, so...
But
Okay, so if that's the case, then dwarves, humans...
remember, you asked me before this, the fifth races are the wargs.
Right, the wargs, which are technically the things that the orcs are riding.
But yes, but you've seen that they also fight separately in some occasions. And you have to remember that this is still the point in Middle-earth where characters, monsters that do not speak in Lord of the Rings actually do talk here.
So yeah,
So, what's the best solution for diplomacy? Erecting a wall with the breeze.
Of course.
to keep them from getting their gold.
We're gonna build a wall and Smaugh is gonna pay for it.
Well, Smaugh paid for it in the highest
he already
price.
has. Seriously, why did he to a giant douche?
Okay. To be fair, this has been something that's been foreshadowed since the first Hobbit film. The whole idea
and remember, Lives, in the book, he's just like this because he's just an asshole.
So
the movie tries to pull up sickness to give an excuse for his behavior shift.
So I guess to be fair, when it comes to the sickness, at least it does a better job of explaining why he's suddenly like this as opposed to him just becoming an asshole.
Yes, I agree. It doesn't change the fact that he gets to be a bit anvil issues, like he said.
Well, that's the thing, though. So what is it, anvilish? Oh, God, it's going to be that.
It will hammer into your face that greed is bad.
You know, what is even his mentality here that, oh, they'll take some of the gold? Like,
yes,
sure,
and he does, much like Smaugh, he doesn't want any single drop of gold to leave the town, so he did leave the mountain.
I wonder, okay, in the book, were there ever hintings that he wanted the gold to himself before this point, or was it literally just at that moment with Smaugh again?
No, it was literally at that moment.
Again, I'm mainly asking because it's been such a while since I've read The Hobbit, and
it's
I don't remember.
A behavior shift meant to showcase. Remember, Tolkien wrote Thorin to be very truthful to the stereotypes of his race. So yeah, here's the thing. One thing that he actually is in the book. Thranduil sends a contingent of elves to actually help the human refugees. The idea is that since they are, in dire need, I will help them, and in turn we could form an alliance to talk more with Thorin.
Hey.
Thranduil, again, is also a bit of an opportunist, but he's not an idiot.
It's funny, because if I recall correctly, Dale will get reconstructed for the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah, so we will not see it. Oh, hey. Come on, no fabulous crown today?
So what's his mentality? If it's something that screws over the dwarves, I'm all in for it?
That too. More like, again, an opportunity of having a better chance of negotiating with Thorin. And also, good public image.
Yep.
Oh. Of course.
Oh, God.
Again with those fucking jewels.
Don't tell me
There it is. The tiara. Sorry, it's more... Oh, I don't know if it's a tiara or actually Oh, there you go.
Look at that. Look
Throwing in disgust.
I like how they made the diamonds look like cocaine. Because,
That's the thing. In a lot of situations, they do and are because of how they're mined.
But don't you see, by the end of this movie, we'll all have to band together against the goblins and the orcs. Right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
I can see what you mean about this being anvilicious, because it's obvious that they have to stretch this out to be the length of an overall movie. Whereas again, if this were, say, packed into the second movie, this would have been, at worst, maybe a segment.
Ooh.
Thank God this did not come out between 2016 or 2020. The joke would have been too goddamn easy.
Hein. Again, Thorin is such a tsundere.
Sure, it'd be a dick move if he blew up the bridge right there and then.
No, thankfully not.
Ominous.
Oh. Hello.
Sort of a mist.
It's time for some
Negotiations.
Thranduil has arrived too, among the refugees of Laketown. Now it's time for negotiation.
Okay.
Is Thorin going to throw the fact that Bard kind of turned them away initially? You know, dude, it's literally just a...
the nod of shame.
It's literally just a fraction of your gold, dude. Okay, I'll say this. For as much as the sickness is head-poundingly frustrating, it's probably a good thing they did include the sickness, because otherwise, this would have been a complete character reroutal, and for no good reason.
I guess.
Really, dude. So yeah, 13 dwarves are totally going to be able to... Well, 13 dwarves and a hobbit are totally going to be able to stand up against two potential armies.
That's also the thing. Even in the best case scenario, it's still technically a siege. They cannot really hold out for eternity.
What?
Yeah, that is a good point. Oh.
When did he ever start?
Remember the dead raven that just flew off?
Oh boy. So what's it gonna be? A free-for-all fight? Winner take all? Yeah.
Yeah, it's no deal. Timber.
And now he took out the bridge.
Well, in the book, it is also a bit more extended, this kind of thing, in a sense that they wait a couple of days, and try to negotiate it again. Here it's instead a bit more sped up.
Or against us? Oh.
No, Frondor is not that dickish. And now it's time to get. Oh no, this is actually the scene of arming instead the people of Laketown with the weaponry that was in Dale. Although, yeah, also the dwarves are also getting armor, and it's time to see how and why Bilbo got the mithril mail. Okay.
You gotta have something for the next film to give to Frodo.
Frodo.
So
There it is.
I guess
Remember, like I said, this thing was made for children, so that's the only thing that's fitting for Bilbo.
So here's a good question. Between Bilbo and Frodo, which of the two do you guys think is a better main protagonist?
Strictly for the movies, Bilbo, because in the book we were pretty much on equal valor. Frodo has just more occasion to show his courage, early on too, you know. Also, just try to avoid the giant demigod spiders. Those tend to bypass this.
Again, Sam apparently one clocked her.
I know the waves in the book, the shadow doesn't even hit him in the mithril mail. Speaking strictly from the book.
Okay, but yeah, I see what you mean, though. In movie-wise, Bilbo does seem to get a lot more done than Frodo.
The only negative thing about Bilbo is it takes a bit longer.
And I
get the fact that he misses his home.
I guess, to be fair, Bilbo doesn't have to fight the ring nearly as much as Frodo does because, Frodo was taking that ring towards its demise, so it was doing everything it could to hold him back, essentially.
Again, the paranoia of Thorin is now at the point where he thinks someone else has taken the Arkenstone, not knowing that Bilbo has it.
Hey, Tio, come to think of it, though, if the ring is technically an extension of Sauron's will, shouldn't the ring have been trying to have helped Smaugh out, then?
Again, that's not what it does in the book, because at that point he's not that active.
Well, true, but since now we're trying to make this continuous with the film trilogy...
It did a bit. Remember, when Bilbo actually gets it on, the words of Smaugh basically trigger the ring's negative side, meaning that Bilbo has to get it away if he doesn't want to have a fucking seizure.
I guess it just didn't come off as clear, but if that is the case, then alright.
Good story, bro.
You sound like Smaugh, dude.
And no, in case you're wondering, not even the movie says it, this sickness does not end up with him transforming into a dragon.
That would have been
so cool.
Yeah.
Remember, the dragons here are in the mythos of the Tolkien books. So the dragons are a creation of Melkor, aka Morgoth, one of the original set of gods. They were created to be supermassive and essentially weapons of mass destruction, but only later on in line, since they started becoming extinct on their own, they became smaller and less dangerous.
Shame Smaugh didn't get the memo.
Meanwhile, one thing again we decided here is the fact that Legolas and Toriel go to visit Gundabad. This is a fortress that's on one of the northern parts of Middle-earth, and it's a goblin fortress. They need to check having a scouting mission to check if an army is, preparing there.
So, in the book, was this just done by two characters from the book as opposed to these two, I'm guessing?
No. What happens is that when Gandalf actually reunites with the party and the battle is about to start, Gandalf says the goblins are arriving from here because the ravens have been assigned. The end.
So I guess to be fair here, they at least use these two characters
to be more organic to foreshadow where the armies are arriving. Again,
okay.
I understand that, but...
So here's the thing with this movie. It doesn't feel like it has a pacing problem. What it feels more like, though, is that it has an issue where you can tell that it is definitely working its rear end off to put in as much content as possible to
It's not
bail
just
out
that,
its
it's also
runtime.
not only that, it's trying to making sure this is more digestible to people who are not used to Tolkien's bizarre story writing.
Which is quite a Herculean task.
Oh my god. Kind of just fry him, please.
I guess the only
You have
reason...
no idea. Oh, you have no idea how much I passed.
Hey Gandalf, if you had a horse, how did you cross Laketown?
He actually went around it. It's still a lake.
I can't tell if that's a compliment or a diss.
Both.
Figures of elves.
Yeah. Again, the movie tries to play it off more of chain of events in a sense that the mission to get back the Lonely Mountain was a pebble that caused an avalanche.
So essentially, this did not go according to plan.
Seriously, what's with the blue?
Flashback.
No, actually, it's not.
Well, yeah, technically, remember, Tio, as per The Hobbit Part 1, this is all technically a big flashback.
I guess. Okay, now it's something that the movie completely and utterly makes up. The way of transportation, the reason how the orcs and goblins and the wargs managed to transport themselves very easily.
Uh-huh. Oh, they dig holes.
Not them, actually, but they look in a specific shape.
A wereworm.
Yeah, okay.
A
Let me be fair.
Worm.
The werewolves are an appendix thing that Tolkien wrote in a moment of era. Mind you, however, they are inhabitants of the Harad Desert on the other side of Middle-earth. They have no place here.
Also, wereworm. So what? Like, if you get bitten by one, you'll turn into a wereworm?
I guess.
So weirder or less so than a were-rabbit?
Less aggressive, I guess.
That's ironic.
So yeah, they try to be still cute and have the still fact that Bolg is the one leading from Gundabad, much like in the original book, but they're also having the army of Azog going instead from the south.
So,
also, one thing that I read, apparently the theatrical cut of this movie had a lot of special effect failure, and apparently the extended cut managed to fix most of them. Like a lot of CGI animation imperfects, a lot of green screen that are just done badly, and so on. That's Elvis. So Bilbo has an idea on what to do. Okay, this is stupid because in the book he manages to sneak away without being noticed by anyone.
but I guess this is to show that Bolfir agrees with him.
And I guess to give him a bit more personality too. Well,
Sucks.
that's unfortunate.
Always.
Huh. Cute. He thinks these are the dark days. Boy, you ain't seen nothing yet.
It's only another confirmation that no matter what happens, things can only get worse.
Yep. Wink,
Get it
wink.
because it's hurt!
Willie?
So, Bilbo, what do you have in mind?
Aside from your very soft bed in the Shire, I guess.
So, Dwibs, I'll ask you what I asked earlier again. Between Bilbo or Frodo, which do you prefer?
Bilbo.
Mm-hmm. Again, movie-wise, Bilbo is portrayed in a much more dignified way.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
when he
Bilbo's at least very proactive in that.
and when he stops whining, he actually gets results.
Yeah, all Bilbo does is either... Sorry, Frodo. I mean, all Frodo does is either whine about, oh, I can't do it.
I wouldn't be too surprised if Bilbo's
Really?
characterization like this was done as an answer to that.
Maybe.
Again, it's ironic. It's like the two elf tribes switched
Literally smoking nervously.
It's like the two elf tribes switched personas. How did these guys become the nice ones and Elrond's tribe became the dicks? But sir, what if it's some of our own troops? Kill it.
Well, it is you, sir.
Kill it.
What, even you?
Look, I don't want to look like a bunny. I don't want to look like a bunny hypocrite, so yes.
Okay, in the book, Bilbo uses the ring the entire time to sneak around. Here, no, he just shows up.
Yes, that is my name.
Oh, right, that happened. We can explain. Yeah. The Arkenstone itself.
Call that Doctor Insane, no have it.
I'm doing it for my boy. But goddammit, I love foreign. Like, seriously, I honestly am beginning to wonder if Bilbo's gonna consider foreign the one that got away.
It's also to reinforce, again, this thing goes in the book, it's also to reinforce the importance of Bilbo's figure in the entire, thing. And it's what also Galadriel says in Lord of the Rings, even the smallest of people's smallest person in the world can still make a difference somehow. Yeah, shit's about to get real, Bilbo.
Okay, Gandalf, where was this in the first Hobbit part? Like, not for nothing, Gandalf. Maybe this is something you should have warned Bilbo about before he joined the goddamn company. Granted, I do get the feeling that this is sort of an extension of the book's problems. Like, again, foreign becoming greedy coming out of nowhere.
Do something wrong, and yeah. So, again, what much people say it's a bit one-sided.
It's 13 of us against... let's call it several of them. They won't stand a chance. You had one job, Alfred. One job.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about no?
Huh. That was flexing. Uh-oh. Don't tell him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. Oh, no, he knows. Huh? Oh, he thinks it's a fake.
Oh, there you go.
Bilbo.
Yeah, much like in the book, Bilbo actually returned to their spot.
That's a brave thing to do, saying it within sword's length of Thorin.
Like he said to Gandalf, he's not afraid of confronting Thorin about it.
He has definitely come a long way since Hobbit Part 1, I will give him that.
Yeah, okay, yeah. If there's one shining beacon of light in these films, it's Martin.
Oh, I mean, the acting is definitely on point all over this movie.
I thought you never look me in the eyes in bed anymore.
Don't speak to me.
Yeah, I love that. Like, wait, he's killing his own guy?
Yeah, no. Too much, sorry.
Don't say it like that, especially when he's there.
He has a name.
Everyone has impeccable timing, making their perfect entrances for these speeches.
Why the Joker didn't show up and say very poor choice of words?
It is a Warner Brothers flick. Yeah, I like how Bilbo's going, okay, I'll just see my way out.
Any minute now.
You are just stoking the flames.
If you don't know Ectelion, that's a throwaway fan service. Ectelion is the current superintendent of Gondor at this moment.
that attitude. Peace was never an option.
Kinda, because the timing is sadly impeccable.
Like I said, everyone has impeccable timing.
Because Thorin decided to call Safra, just give a quick call to one of his friends on the Blue Mountains, I think is. An entire contingent of dwarves led by Dain II Ironfoot, played by Billy Connolly.
Billy Connolly?
Yes, this actually was one of the last major theatrical roles. He has done TV stuff after this.
Huh.
Well, from what I've seen, most of these roles, most of these lines were only edited later because the actor could not perform in time for the shooting or something. It's weird.
Oh snap, Thorn was the more reasonable of the two.
Yeah, dwarves tends to be very stubborn. Uh,
Yeah.
Get off my lawn.
Again, Scottish actor, so
Why not? Again, the whole thing about the army works arriving is kind of a revelation at the very end, right before the actual fight between the elves, men, and dwarves can start. Gandalf just shows up in the middle of everything and just says stop and refocus on this. Here, instead, they try to make Gandalf this poor tragic figure that he keeps warning everyone else, but nobody's listening to him.
So let me guess, we'll see them fight a bit, then the orcs show up, and then everyone realizes, okay,
Pretty much.
we
Pretty much. We're going old school comic crossover on this.
Again, they're pretty much pulling every trick in the... Well, ironically, yes, every trick in the book, I say,
Jesus Christ.
to try and
Yikes.
extend this plot.
Okay, did Billy Connolly come up with those insults himself?
Would not surprise me.
Okay, for the movie, yes, but it's very in character because, like I said, dwarves and elves cannot stand each other and will throw racist insults at each other in any occasion. Yes.
Goats.
Very big goats.
Specifically, rams.
So I'll just call them Rams then.
Oh boy, here we go. No.
Madness. This is Erebor! There we go.
Okay.
That is a pretty neat trick.
Well, shoot.
Yeah, I'm convinced. Those insults were Billy Connolly improvising.
Literal ricochet gunshot sounds.
Sound effect.
Meanwhile, he's just standing there watching it.
Yeah, funny thing about goats, they're not normal cavalry, they can actually trample shields.
Yes. Those horns are not just for show. And boars can be pretty nasty to deal with as well.
Yes. However, much like you said, the battle does start a bit, but insert quote from Dune.
Again, why are they called werewolves? Is it like if you get bitten by one, you turn into one?
It's fancy.
And mind you, we're not even at the halfway point yet.
No, for now on, it's a gigantic action scene. Like I said.
Okay. You know what? Well, actually, no. Even with Return of the King, for as much as there was a lot of action, I feel like there was a lot going on simultaneous to that big war here and there. For this, though, as far as I recall, this is where all points converge.
Pretty much.
So, yeah.
And like I said, most of the battle gets essentially summed up because Bilbo gets conveniently hit with a rock near the beginning and falls asleep and gets to be told the aftermath later.
Wait, so what you're telling me is that book-wise, technically, we don't even actually get to, quote-unquote, see this stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, elves, help out.
Yeah, you don't really have a choice now. Yay,
Oh,
teamwork! Yeah. Because we're Sonic heroes.
So this is the titular there.
Battle, yeah,
Battle of the
and
Five
pretty
Armies.
much we have pretty much an hour of this, mind you.
Is it boy, an hour-long fight scene? Is it at least fun?
I enjoyed it for what it is. Again, if I isolate the movie from the weirdness of adapting from the source material, yes, it's an enjoyable fight scene.
Hang on, wait a minute. Third installment of a trilogy, and one part of it is just a really long fight scene. Are they taking this from Matrix Revolutions?
I thought you were going to say instead the Snyder Cut, because from what I heard, one Pedro told me there are a lot of prolonged fight scenes in that.
Well,
too.
I haven't seen the Snyder Cut.
Me neither. That's what I'm
Matrix
asking.
Revolution. Hey, they're all from Warner Brothers.
It's also pretty neat of how Azog is commanding orders with a set of flags.
So where are the
Why is that way
goblins
it does
in
in the
all
book?
this, I wonder?
They're part of the army. Again, like I said, orcs and goblins for this occasion counts as one. Again, never mind the fact that the trolls are also here too, so it should be more than 5 races, but whatever.
I don't think Battle of the Six Armies is.
Well, there is a YouTube pulp dweebs that is really called Battle of the 42 Armies, which is pretty good. Which is pretty neat. It's adapted. It's basically remixing the Rankin Bass animated adaptation, and basically essentially arrives with Gandalf near the end, announcing a lot of weird shit happening around the same time, like Uncle Scrooge McDuck or Judge Dredd.
Oh my god. Is it like that multiverse movie where,
No, it's not that, Joe. It's more old school YouTube pulp. I will give a link out.
Is that? Yeah, I think Joe was referring to that one where it will probably be a contender for most copyrighted video of all time.
Basically, somebody made a super edit of Avengers Endgame and actually managed to make about an hour and a half long movie that essentially has so many characters from different bits. And it's not just that. No. They're photoshopped in actually pretty well. Like, there's legit a part where Captain Jack Sparrow has to take the Infinity Gauntlet during the Battle of Endgame. And no, I'm not making any of that up. It is truly a beautiful YouTube poop.
We mean to watch it with Jova, but it's a rather long one.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the idea of the orcs for a siege ram. Yeah, that.
Well, it
he
worked.
tried. And mind you, the town was not in a good condition beforehand, so... Well, shit.
Well cried.
Alright, Bard's family. I keep forgetting they exist, maybe because in the book we were barely non-existent.
He has a family.
Again, perfectly crafted for the American audience. Yeah.
Well cried, and that's where his kids probably are.
Oh, the battle's going from bad to worse in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
We need
The,
something
the,
to turn
the
things
interesting thing
around.
about this is that the men of Laketown are just caught in the middle of this.
Yeah. You know, it's a shame they didn't have more lances around. Contrary to popular belief, the best thing for a newcomer or newbie to use is the lance.
A spear, yes. Oh my.
Well, there's no way you could make yourself any more despicable, I'm sure, Alfred.
What, Alfred from Batman?
No, it's called Ifrid.
Oh, I thought it said Alfred.
Nah, it's Alfred. It's almost like if you said Alfred, but in a Scottish accent.
It's kind of like that. There's a recurring character in the Tales of franchise, but it's called Ifrid, a pirate captain.
Okay, I'll just say one thing now. So far, my favorite character in this entire trilogy is Billy Connolly.
Really?
And he's only just showed up.
Is it because of his insults?
Yeah, he's got the best
Bard,
lines
what are
in
you
the
doing?
movie. He's got the best lines in the movie.
Bard, this is not a good idea.
This will make it great for the video game adaptation.
That will never be made.
Actually, I think this movie did get a game made of it.
The trilogy did not get a tie-in adaptation. I think.
It looks like a bit. It looks like a video game, to be fair.
Again, I think Lord of the Rings Online was a thing around this point. They probably had a tie-in event.
Let me check.
Jesus.
Ouch.
Poor goat. Again, despite also the rating, the movie can surprisingly still get pretty violent.
Good for them on that. Good for them.
Maybe they actually remember what PG means. Oh my god. I don't want this guy near children at any possible way, please.
Oi, women can fight too. In fact, you literally had some women at the forefront with you, so what the hell?
Seriously, why haven't you fired that guy?
It's like
He's a means to an
Starscream.
end.
Is it supposed to be funny?
No.
Oh, nice shot.
Just the way he's been throwing the sword to people, throwing things around to people.
Okay.
Like this.
Apparently, in some of these scenes, Peter Jackson's daughter and Andy Serkis' daughter are around for cameos, so that's also pretty neat.
How neat. Ooh, that's... Wow.
That's very convenient. No, no, not the antler. You killed my steed. Again, for all his pompousness and pontification, Frando still can kick ass on his own.
Again, like, I'm still wondering, how did his tribe become the good guys and Elrond's became the dicks in the Lord of the Rings trilogy?
I guess all the bad apples migrate to the west, in first.
Oh no, not
No,
the
not the
pig!
piggy.
No, I'm not going to get into that now. But...
Good question.
So, are we going to do something?
I mean, to be fair, you're like the main figurehead leader, so it's probably best that you stay out of combat so that you don't potentially
Look at
end
what
up
happened
killed.
to Gothmog in Return of the King.
Yeah.
Tio, that hasn't happened yet.
Some characters can see into the future, so... You know.
Okay, for a second, that Tio, it's like you were copying Jarek's evil evil giggle from Mortal Kombat 4.
So, Fori, you want to do something in all of this? Tentai. Oh wait, wrong movie.
You dick.
Yeah, okay, if this is meant to be a redemption story, I'm not gonna believe this guy.
Well, again, Dwibs, at least in the movie they explain that it's due to a sickness that he's like this. In the book, he legit just became...
It also though means that his redemption arrives way early on here. We're just scintillating a bit more. Like as soon as the battle turns south, the wall gets crumbled and all the other door shows up.
Mm-hmm. Any man who has to constantly proclaim himself as king is not a king.
I don't know. To me, this just kind of comes off as like, you know that insane guy in the third film,
Denethor.
What?
Denethor.
the Denethor, the one they
The
tried to paint,
superintendent.
the one they tried to paint as a sympathetic figure, and yet he just came off like a crazy person.
Wait, did they try to make him as
No,
a
they
sympathetic?
didn't.
No, Dwibs, they didn't. In fact, if anything, didn't he die crazy and everything too?
That's the thing, though. I heard it was like that in the book.
Yes,
Well,
but not in the movie.
yeah,
That's one of my
thankfully
problems
not in the-
because we changed so much. Alright, it's time for Thorin to confront himself.
Oh,
I mean,
is
the
he...
actor's, yeah. I mean, I like his actor.
Wait, you mean to tell me that 2 + 2 = 4?
Is that a question you ask insane people or something? What's 2 + 2 4? You're not insane.
My point is that, well, dude, you have the clues all around, and he's only now starting to catch on. Like, okay, if Thorin were established to be someone who was slow on the uptake, I could get this. But the Thorin we've known should have at least... Okay, I can buy him falling to the sickness. What I don't buy is him taking this long to fall to it. Also, hello there. Just like it was Smaugh's. Oh.
Creepy.
Pretty visuals. Has it been spelled out for you enough yet?
Greed is bad.
I don't want to be king anymore. Sir, you've been saying that for the past 30 minutes. Are we going to do anything?
Oh, snap.
Dynamic entrance match.
So here's a good question. What's Bilbo doing in all this?
You'll see soon enough.
You know, I just realized he looks a bit like Gabriel Belmont.
Too long hair. Shorten in a bit. It's about family.
So yay, Thorin's cured himself of his sickness. Why?
All you need to do was to watch yourself die in a pit of gold, I guess.
Wow.
It's that easy, apparently.
To be fair, Dweebs, would you rather have this or Jean Grey getting her over Dark Phoenix power just by sleeping?
Ugh.
Well, I don't know. I mean, at least a good night's sleep can help.
I mean, okay, Dwibs. To calm down the flipping Phoenix Force with just a nap was
Dumb.
beyond stupid.
Do you have any other ways?
Yes! No training. Several months of meditation and all that. Or, you know, one of the other many ways that she had to commune with the Phoenix Force. Yeah, that's the thing. The Phoenix Force was also sort of a living entity as well, here and there.
Yeah.
I mean, my main problem is that I never really liked Beardy from the start, to be honest. He just came off to me as just some really, really boring protagonist, taking away from, you know, the title character.
Okay, here's the thing about...
And it's not even...
There we go.
That's the problem with these movies. I get what they're trying to do. You know, have it be like Mad Max, where the title character is really just a passenger in everything going on around him. But it's unlike 3 out of 4 Mad Max movies. It's not even really been all that interesting.
I forgot. What was the one Mad Max movie you don't really like?
Beyond Thunderdome.
The third one.
I thought you were going to say the first one.
And here's the bizarre...
Okay. Well, Jover, to be fair, if it was the American dub of the first one, I wouldn't like it.
Here's the bizarre thing. In the book, it's also stated that Thorin and the others arrive complete with their battle armors and everything. But here they discard them for this. It's so weird.
To show that they now throw away all their fear?
Makes no sense, Jova.
Yeah, it does.
The only thing I can see why they're doing this was just so they're more recognizable in the chaos.
It's
as in for the audience.
Oh, hey, Bilbo. He's better now.
He got better.
Oh,
Whee!
catapulted. Not a fan of that type of humor, I guess.
Not just that. Again, we keep using Bombur for even ever slapstick because he's fat.
I mean, at least he still gets to kick butt, so it's not like he's useless. Admittedly, though,
I was iffy about it when Avengers Endgame did it. What makes you think I'm gonna like this anymore?
Oh God, we'll get to Avengers Endgame. I'll admit, I am so split on that humor in Avengers Endgame, but to discuss that again, we'll save that for Endgame itself.
Yeah, I mean, we've got plenty of other MCU films to do before that anyway.
Oh, that was rude.
Yeah, he was just trying to kill you. Come on.
The poor troll has to suffer already this much.
Boing.
Hey, just because he's not Legolas doing this shit.
Steer it.
What are you doing? You're on our side.
Hey, Dweebs, you wanted some woman fighting? There you go. Oh no, these. This is terrible.
Seriously? Okay, that's the thing, though. I don't remember it being that bad in the other film.
What, this guy?
Now, yeah.
I mean,
Now all of a sudden, he's a Weasley. He's just turned into a.
No, he was like that even in the previous movie.
He was like that. Okay, here's the difference, Droops. He was in power at the time. Here, he's not without power, so of course he shows ever more his true colors.
Hey, you come here often.
How's it been, cuz?
Well, can we all agree the main problem is that the guy's stick isn't funny?
Yeah.
I don't think they're trying to be funny. They're, again, just showing how much of a weasel he is.
Yeah, the corset and the fact that he's in a drag.
Oh, that? I mean, I guess, again, I think that's just a sign of his cowardice. You know, kind of like in the Titanic film where guys dressed up as women even though it's supposed to be women and children only. And all that.
There you go. Tony's plan is to take down Azog so the rest of the army will fall.
But...
With this, so.
Wee.
Oh.
You almost took out your cousin. Gotta love guys who have the time to be able to say all that dramatic stuff in the middle of a battlefield without any worry of a stray ammunition.
I think it's a free action, brother.
So I always find the versions for that pretty funny. Come onward, men! We will save our king.
Should have gone for the... Oh, wait, no, you did go for the head. Good job, actually.
Yes, it's a literal machine gun crossbow.
Keep trying, my dude.
Shit. Okay.
Again, the stuff that they can get...
Matcha.
The stuff they've been able to get away with in this PG-13 rating is, Pretty impressive.
Oof.
I mean, okay, I guess part of the clause is that, oh, they're mystical beings, so it's not as violent when they get beheaded like
Also, we
that.
use blackness for the blood. Whoop. R for reload.
I thought that was a musical instrument for a second.
Oh no. Like I said, machine gun crossbow.
Oh, God. Are you sure?
Bonk.
Time to abandon ship.
Or troll.
Troll sock'em robots. Oh dear.
Oh no.
Lower the bridge, lower the bridge, lower the bridge, lower the bridge.
That's one way of doing it.
Okay. That's good improvisation, not gonna lie.
Oh no, not the goat.
Well, they look like they're getting a good meal out of it.
Also, where did the music go?
Howard Shaw forgot to do music.
He fell asleep again.
Howard Shore got tired, I guess. Oh!
Oof. We're running out of goats.
Those poor rams. That's a weird pre-mortem line.
Yeah, I'm not doing this. Bye.
Oof.
Oh snap, so we might actually lose a party member.
Yeah, sure. Seriously?
He said it. By the way, where's
They
Balin?
2 days
Sorry,
before
sorry, you skipped most of the action.
By the way, where's Balin?
He's in a crappy game. Oh.
With an I, lives, not an A.
Yeah. Just push your luck ever, pretending that treasures your bosom. I'm sure no karma will come your way. Wow. Again, he has been getting so lucky with dodging his karma. He literally jiggled his, Oh boy, this is, well, I sure hope the actor had
For
fun.
family. Shit. Alright, Gunnar, what do you want to do this time?
Ooh, an elvish spell.
Oh, fuck, I forgot to put the batteries in.
Remember, the Star Wars of Radagast, it's a bit incompatible.
Yeah, it's gonna need some fine-tuning.
No. They're trying to do a Sylvester McCoy imitation.
Nope.
I am the Doctor.
Don't tell
Oh,
me.
right, I remember this. Yeah, this is actually an edition for the extended cut. In the original, it just gets away. In here...
Huh?
Well, fuck my life.
Yeah! So, yeah. Is he alive?
No,
Symbolic.
you're a great dancer.
So,
How does that even work?
he choked on him, essentially.
No, I mean the cannon.
It was a catapult.
Basically, Glib's
That's
very...
sensitive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
apparently.
could be very sensitive. Looney Tunes as that may have seemed,
You
no.
also have to remember that it's a remnant from the town of Dale, meaning that, it was very old.
So, isn't that funny? In the end, Alfred did actually contribute to the war effort and save Gandalf's life. How noble
adorable.
of him. And he did it while shaking his gold-inflated bosom. Yeah,
Hooray.
I get the feeling you weren't a fan of that.
No.
Not really.
Well, Tio, do you at least
Like, cross-dressing jokes can be extremely fun, but you need to make them work, especially if you don't want to especially this day and age, if you don't want to come up as insensitive.
Well, Tio, do you at least consider him getting his comeuppance better in this
For
than
the
him
extended
just...
cut, yes.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's technically an original character made for the movies. Oh, there are Legolas in Tario. Where have you been?
We're just here to tell you what Gandalf tells in the book.
Shit is getting even more down.
The goblins.
Bilbo, yeah.
Oh no, all the party members. It would be a shame if we
Especially
lost
the one that
of them.
dies in the book. So too convenient. Conveniently plays fog.
Imagine how loud Azog's voice had to be to reach all the way up from here to them down there.
Mm-hmm. Don't split. Jesus.
Yeah, let's, so, we've been doing most of our stuff actually together. Let's totally split up. Oh, thank God. Funnily enough... Oh, no, we're still splitting up. Okay. What have we become?
Oh.
If we... Oh, wait, let me guess. This is what convinces the elves to... Oh. They're running.
Mm-hmm. Retreat. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you
Bilbo, no.
you see, the only reason I'm considered a hero is because what else? Coward.
Yeah, Bilbo's way more proactive than Frodo, not gonna lie.
At this point, Bilbo is so done with everyone's shit.
Like, hell, honestly, going off of the Hobbit trilogy, Bilbo could have arguably have handled that ring a bit more to take
And
it to the volcano.
like he said, in the book version of Fellowship of the Ring, Bilbo even volunteers to be the bearer of a ring, but it's discarded because they think he had too much influence over him and he's already getting old.
I suppose, but... Yeah. Oh?
Yeah.
Why do you keep switching between languages?
Again, something must have happened over those 60 years to make these guys the good elves.
Oh, that's a terrible line. That is a terrible line.
Doesn't he love his son? So it's the power of love that's gonna convince the elves to help, isn't it?
What is love?
Yeah, can you do that? Bye.
No, he was just as stunned by that terrible dialogue as we were. He's like, really? Did Peter Jackson and the same writers and the same other writers of the Rings films write that bit?
Oh, it's adorable.
Yeah, it's like I've always said. Yeah, sure, you've had executive meddling going against you, but I mean, that doesn't mean you should get an excuse for still fucking bits up.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was also part of the executive mandating again.
And they just didn't know how to handle the scenes. Oh no! How nice. Yeah. Split again.
Christ, you guys split up more than a band.
You guys put up
No,
more
not
than the
just that.
Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc.
Or any teenager in a horror story movie.
There's the Thorn we know and love.
Mm-hmm. It's a trap. Please.
Well, there's like 50 minutes left, so maybe you will get to fight
Keep
after all.
Keep also in mind there is still the aftermath to deal with. There he is.
Surprisingly, you didn't kill them.
It's more convenient to showcase a demonstration of power. And there's our first casualty of the group.
One of the brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was that?
This is not a brutality.
This
is a
Petey.
fatality.
Also very anticlimactic, which reflects what happened in the book. Some of it, basically, the deaths happened essentially off screen, which, again, it's anticlimactic when you get down to it. So they probably wanted to reflect that.
Well, I mean, at least here, A, we see it, and B, well, I mean, just sometimes not everyone.
Yeah, gets to have a blaze of glory.
Yeah, some people do just die like that.
This is war and shit.
Keely's not too happy about that.
No. Okay,
now we're getting the Thorn and Azog duel. Even though he said that Thorn would die last. Kinda would suck if he ended up killing Thorn in battle.
Well, I guess he's pragmatic.
I lied.
Well, he did
Yeesh.
also think to wear armor for this as well, so good on him.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, the army has arrived.
Okay, Bilbo. It's you versus an army. What will you do? What will you do? Ducking. Good idea.
Oh, great, the bats. Oh, no, is it? Is it one of the more...
Legolas, no.
Legolas, yes!
Seriously.
It's one of the more infamous scenes of the movie coming up.
I think so.
Eh?
Let's just say, like you said, Jova, Legolas becomes more OP with each passing movie.
Oh boy. So I guess this technically means that he eased up in the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Well, okay, while technically he's still immortal like all elves, he's not, he probably got some rust on him or something. And here's a showcase of effect of good qualities of the Hobbit. Like I mentioned in Lord of the Rings, they're very good at throwing stones.
Yeah.
They will literally stone you to death with the macabre efficiency.
Nice. Again, giving Bilbo stuff to do even in the middle of battle. I mean, do you know what? And you know, to be fair,
Like I said, in the book is also anticlimactic for him. He doesn't do anything. He just stands on the sideline seeing things happening. Oh my
oh my god!
Just this is not Dynasty Warriors. Seriously.
So
hello and welcome to our playthrough of Dynasty Hobbits.
And there you go. Okay, in the book, it just like I was just saying. In the book, Bilbo's just seeing things from the sideline, but then a random rock falls on his head and knocks him out for the rest of the fight. In here, if I recall correctly, it's just Bolg that knocks him a bit, and it stays like that.
Perfect landing!
So now what?
True, he's kind of stuck on that tower, isn't he?
Finish him! Oh, for a second there, I thought they were for a second
fucking
there,
campers.
Like, suddenly they had a heart attack. Like
well, hopefully Legolas has
like
enough arrows.
And the Holy Grail, yeah.
Kelly, if we don't make it out of here, I just want to let you know that I love you, okay? Okay, good, we got the line out of the way.
Okay, to be honest, I mean, the whole Torio love triangle thing, surprisingly to me, that's been the least of my problems with this film.
Oh, I mean,
it's still a thing that is present and certainly doesn't help it. Ow.
Oh, snap.
Oh my god, it's just like an apocalypse with Mystique.
Oh!
Bonk. There it is.
I thought that was David Tennant for a second.
No.
Together.
Because we're whatever, already made that joke. And yeah, Keely is also one of the major victims.
So he was going to stab him, but then she tried to intervene, but then she got thrown aside and he stabbed him anyway.
Yeah.
So basically the two brothers die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what was the point of that then?
Well,
Heading.
he saved her from dying.
Oh no.
Anyway.
Okay, so now's the time to get up and stab him, right, Torio?
I hate love triangles anyway.
Oh no, he's the ugly bastard.
Oh, don't tell me. Now Torio loses the will to live.
Thankfully, no, we don't do that shit.
That's right. Get up, show him what for, and avenge your lover, girl. Oh.
That's
Oh.
acrobatics.
So yeah, they both go in death, I guess.
Oh, this happened.
Oh wait, no, she's fine.
Ah, my spine.
Or is she?
Not to
Well,
worry.
crud.
I will. Oh.
Oh, all of arrows. For once. The one time you needed them. Again, one thing that I actually dig about these trilogies is that it showcases Legolas at least in a bit more of a panic.
Oh yeah, like remember, Bolg actually
although
did...
it doesn't stop him from being OP.
I mean...
So what will we do now?
What does that say about Bolg then, Tio? The one who's managed to actually fight him to a draw and arguably come out on top.
Remember, it's personal now. Shit.
Wow.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how Legolas deals with a gap. Alright, round 2.
Is it wise to have this fight here in a bridge that's probably gonna come crashing down sooner or
Jova,
later?
again, Pirates of the Caribbean told that no battlefield is too harsh to traverse, I guess.
True, yeah. I will give Bolg this, though. The guy has gone through 2 protagonists already and is on to his 3rd.
That's because even in the book he's described as near invincible. It only takes a particular type of particular character to kill him, which I'll mention later.
Legolas?
No, remember, Legolas is not in the book.
But he's here.
You'll see, it waves in due time.
I guess it does give us, arguably, the best we get both Azog and Bolg to deal with in this fight.
Oh,
crud.
Ow. Oh, so is that it? He dies from,
Give it a second, Waves.
For a second I thought we were going to copy off League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
No. And there you go. Legolas is forced to give back the Gondolin weapon to Thorin with this.
Huh.
Remember, he stole it from him in the Supreme movie.
Unfortunately...
So, but now he doesn't have a weapon. He only has his knives to deal with the Bolg. Oh, got him.
Handy.
Jesus.
That just pissed him off. Oh.
Thank you for giving me a weapon.
Dang. Wow, once again, Legolas is getting beaten. This time, it's for real. 1v1 me.
Properly.
Okay, I'll give the movie credit. So far, my fear that the whole battle scene being, risking getting boring or overdrawn has so far...
if there's anything, it's that it's entertaining, at the very least, which is also why other people actually enjoy the movie, and it still sold a lot.
And I can see why.
Actually, I think it's also a good thing to mention, because the budget was very bloaty for this one. Budget 300 million, grossing 956 million. So while still a success, much like with the others, because of the budget, it was technically not as much in terms of recouping.
Here we go. Yeah,
yes, this
video game character. You're a video game
use the Mario
character.
Sound effect.
Boing, boing.
Wow.
Yeah, Bolg is literally doesn't even.
Yeah, that's one of the most infamous.
Can you please?
Swashbuckling.
You're gonna need new knives, though, Legolas. So yeah, here's the thing. In the book, Bolg gets to be killed by Beorn, who arrives in bear form on the battlefield and literally one-shots him.
I
Here
guess.
instead, it's a kill from Legolas because they built this rivalry between the
You
two.
know what?
And I mean, it would have been so bad, but then they turned him into a freaking video game.
Okay. I guess to be fair, if they had just done that one shot with Baron, that might have made it a bit more anticlimactic for someone as awesome as Bolg. Like, they did make it that it did take essentially 3 characters fighting him to the death in order to take him down. Like, I mean, okay, at the very least, they didn't make it so that, oh, Legolas himself defeated him easily. No, Legolas was like the last of 3 characters to face off against him, and it was like still one where he barely won.
And even then, he had to enter a cheat code to defy the law of gravity.
Azog, what have I told you about minding your surroundings?
Especially if you decide to fight on the ice. Yeah, that's also another thing. In the book, it's Bilbo who spots the eagles and then gets knocked out. In here, they just arrive to kill the upcoming army.
Oh,
which, okay, to be
Radagast!
fair, led by Radagast, so at least there is that. But yeah, they literally one-shot the remaining of the army before
Hey,
the others
Beorn.
managed to kill them. There you go. This is basically the best you get from Beorn. Which, to be fair, is pretty neat, giant bear on a battlefield. Honestly, I'm very surprised that we never got a Dynasty Warriors like game based on these mythos.
Whoopsie!
Shit!
Oh fuck, I forgot the eye! So he dies from throwing his weapon.
How dumb. Oof.
Wah, wah. What a weird death.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you learned how to use the surroundings against him.
Thorin.
Thorin?
Shit.
Oh!
No, they survive in the cold now. Yes, we do.
Pops out and grabs him.
Hopefully. Not.
Oh! Right in the foot! Oh, you dick! You dick! Thank God for the curvature of that blade.
I tell you to put your foot in your mouth, but you can't right now, can you?
I may not be able to. How about now?
There you go,
One
mutual
for
kill.
one.
Jesus.
It's a bit weird though how drowning him in an icy cold didn't kill him, and yet that does.
This does.
Well, that's the thing. His outer skin protected him. But now, with the internal bleeding and all that...
I'm more surprised when an orc can hold his breath underwater.
Unfortunately...
Okay, so kills that by scale aren't kills, and yet the weaker one does kill him. It's like Alone in the Dark now.
Which one?
Kinda. The movie.
Ah.
Remember the character at the beginning who gets shot multiple times, thrown around, but it's impaling him on a spike that kills him.
They already came, Bilbo.
Yeah, we're already done here. Sorry. Just go to sleep.
What's the black there?
The blood of the orcs.
Oh, okay.
So,
Maybe
was
I
it worth it,
shouldn't have been
Thorin?
so greedy.
Oh, no. We already learned that lesson.
Could one of you still eat stupid eagles take me to the infirmary? Hello?
Thorin?
Anyone?
Thorin, don't!
Alright, fine. Guess I'll die.
Oh, at least he fell on his back.
Yeah, would have been silly if he'd fallen over the edge.
Oh no.
I'm sorry for being such a greedy bastard.
Oh. Yeah, in the book is instead the fact that Bilbo wakes up in the infirmary, they take him to the tent where Thorin is led, and they have their goodbyes there. Here it's a bit more organic, I guess.
Oh, for a second that's here for you to say, and then Bilbo woke up and it had all been a dream.
No, we don't do that. Again, it's used only for Bilbo to skip the entire fight and being told out the afterward.
The value of friendship.
If a lot of people loved each other, the world would be a better place to live.
Now you're making me imagine Tommy Wiseau being Sauron.
Imagine him being Saruman.
By the way, Gandalf, how's your sex life?
Alright, but maybe more accurately, Grima Wormtongue.
Bilbo, he looks pretty dead.
He dead.
Damn you, Eagles! You couldn't have got him to an infirmary!
It's kind of our nature to show up at the end of stuff.
And being assholes.
Yeah. Wow, I'm surprised
Oh, so
Storio's alive. I thought she was gonna die knocking her head the way she did.
What did this love triangle accomplish?
Absolutely nothing.
One of my lovers is dead. I've got a scar on my face. And worst of all, people are gonna hate me for it.
Eventually, Lini, I think, still has a career to this day, so that she should not be worried about that.
I think Dwarfs was talking about the character.
Like.
I think Dwarfs was talking about
I know Dwarfs.
I thought you were talking about the character in universe.
Well, I mean that too, but you're a few fans of it.
Thankfully, this movie did not come out at the time of, the more heated stuff. Yeah, I forgot. She's Hope Van Dyne, so she's a part of the MCU too. Also, she was in Lost. I forgot even that. Fuck. Man, it's been so long since I saw Lost.
So why
forgot that a lot of actors known today have been there.
So why can't Legolas go back with the Wood Elves?
Because he can't be there yet, Jover. He has to be where he is. The rings.
Oh, foreshadowing for Aragorn. Yeah. Basically, this is set up for how Legolas knows already who Aragorn is by the time of the Council of Elrond. Because, like I said, another thing with the appendages tell is that during the 60-year gap, there's a bit of more setup that starts up happening. Legolas meeting Aragorn, Aragorn trying to catch Gollum and failing miserably at that. You know,
From what I
Gimli
recall,
growing up and so on.
it's weird because from what I recall, Legolas does eventually go back to the Wood Elves since, when we first meet him and all that.
Only
so...
temporary, and after the War of the Ring, but only after that, like I mentioned, there's the bit where he's allowed to go west with Gimli.
So I guess this is part of what helps the Wood Elves become the better elves?
I guess that will help.
I wonder if anyone has thought about making a movie about what happened in the 60-year interlude between...
That's the thing. I
Not
genuinely,
about love, for fuck's sake!
I genuinely thought that the Amazon Prime series would have tackled those, but no, they're doing it as a more of a prequel, talking about the Numenorians.
Also, Dribs, I thought you said the love was like the least of the movie's issues.
I know, but that's the thing, they keep bringing it up. I mean, poor Evangeline Lilly has to say this.
Oh, and now he admits that the love was real.
But
This is
it
also,
was fake earlier.
if I recall
You're probably
correctly, one of the deleted scenes that did not actually end up in the extended cut, but you can find it on YouTube, is Gandalf talking to Thranduil and telling him that that he had a wife that now is dead, and he should think about that when it comes to these matters.
Oh. So wait. The one whose body she's kneeling over at a wife?
No, Thranduil, the Elven King. Yeah.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, was the typical audience reaction to
Just sitting there, not knowing what to do.
And
Potentially smoking.
I mean, okay, I won't deny, this movie arguably has the least reason to exist of the three, but goddamn, I'll admit, that battle scene was enjoyable to watch. Now, again, like I have said, I feel like we could have cut a lot out of part 1, and this could have probably been fitted into part 2 as a result.
Yeah, with all of the stuff in the love triangle, you might as well have called this film Love.
That's the thing, the love triangle didn't even start until part 2.
Yeah, okay, I kind of like this scene because the characters are not seeing each other, and that's enough. Everything is conveyed through their expressions.
War is hell.
And it never changes.
So yeah, 3 party members dead.
Yeah, the body count at the end of the journey is only 3 out of the 13 dwarves. That's crazy.
I mean, this is supposed to be the lighter the saga.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was
Only 3 deaths.
It was 3 in the book, wasn't it, too?
Yes. But like you said, their death happened off screen.
Well, but oh crap, yeah.
Bilbo wakes up here, he's been told that Fili and Kili had died, and he's just in time to see Thorin die.
And let's be honest. People would have called all the fouls if this movie did that as well and skipped over the huge battle scene, like.
Or at least he didn't do the whole thing about Bilbo getting knocked out and we see the rest as a flashback.
Yeah,
that might not have been good plot pacing.
Or God forbid, do what they do in the final Twilight movie.
Oh man.
Which is...
Make it all never happen. So yeah, Thorin is gonna be honored with the Arkenstone and the Elven Blade.
Well, now I'm sure this means that the dwarves will get a very nice resurgence in the next 60 years. Am I right, guys?
Technically, yes. Only the party that goes to try to recapture Moria gets killed.
Which, ironically enough, I think has one of these dwarves among them.
Balin. Also a couple of others that are not mentioned in the movies.
Also, fun fact. For 2014... this film was the second highest grossing film of that year.
Which was the first?
Transformers Age of Extinction.
I mean, Transformers Age of Extinction was arguably them trying to get better, and I'll admit, I actually do like Age of Extinction.
I like it more than the 5th one.
Actually,
Oh,
let me
me
check instead
too.
because I haven't checked if any of these movies actually got awards, but I
Like,
don't really think so.
okay, think about it, Dribs. The fifth Bayformers film was so bad that even the usual Bayformers fans hated that movie.
Oh my
Like,
god, it was nominated only for one Oscar, it was Best Sound Editing, and it didn't even won that.
what, this movie?
What film won that one?
I'll check.
I mean, I guess to be fair to you, like you yourself said, this movie does have a lot of issues. Oh, so now I guess the cousin's the king. All hail Billy Connolly?
Sound Editing, there you go. It won, American Sniper won.
Funny, I've heard the sound editing in that film was terrible.
The other candidates were Birdman.
Okay. Were the Oscars at the point only giving awards to films just because Clint Eastwood was directing them?
I don't know. The other candidates were Birdman, Interstellar, and Unbroken. I think Interstellar had the better sound editing, to be honest. But yeah, now it's time for Bilbo to go home. Well, before saluting the others. Anyway, Jova, like I mentioned a couple of times in Lord of the Rings, what happens in the aftermath is that after 60 years, during the events of the War of the Ring, in this precise location, Dain leads the forces that are remaining of the dwarves, the elves, and the people of Laketown against the forces of Sauron that instead are gathering in the north. Dain dies, but the people are triumphant over it.
So who's the new king after that?
I don't remember, sorry.
Well, yeah, that's a thing that we don't actually see him visiting. It's not big, really.
Okay, I don't remember if it happens here, but in the book we also get a small scene 1 or 2 years later where a couple of the dwarves led by Balin get to visit Bilbo, meaning that over time he received visitors.
And hey, look at the bright side. Now the journey back can hopefully not be fraught with danger.
Not to mention, Bilbo still got part of the treasure for himself.
Very nice, very nice.
And much like in Lord of the Rings, the journey home is actually very quiet because there wasn't that much danger at the time.
Funny story. The extended version of the film actually did get a one-night only re-release in October 2015, and even had Peter Jackson do a special greeting.
Huh. Neat. Was it a Justice film?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it might have been the other ones. I don't.
You idiot.
Who are you talking to, Gandalf or Bilbo?
Gandalf. He knows that Bilbo is a ring, but he doesn't even suspect remotely that it's the one.
So how much death and destruction do you think he would have prevented if he had just had told Bilbo, oh, by the way, Bilbo, I want to stop by this volcano here. Would you mind accompanying me towards it?
Again,
Gandalf, when we catch fire.
Again, when what Saruman said, the law for the leaf pipe went over his head. Sure, you did.
But
yeah, he's something way bigger than you.
Seriously, Gandalf, you should have just taken him to the volcano and then taken the ring and dumped it there.
You know, Joe, you actually reminded me of something.
Let me guess how it should have ended.
No. So I actually saw a picture of like, you know how Sam in the movie, you know how Sam in the movies was like, I can't carry the ring, Frodo, but I can carry you. They altered the picture, and that's so it made it that he said, I can't throw the ring, but I can throw you, and he throws Bilbo into the.
But something was happening in the Shire in the meantime.
Come
Excuse
again?
me. Yeah, leaving his house unchecked meant that the Sackville Baggins decided to fuck around.
Oh my god, it's Bilbo's the ghost of Bilbo Baggins.
Fucking assholes.
Is everyone a Baggins in this town?
No, like I said, the Sackville Baggins are more like the distant cousin that are more annoying. The contract.
That thing has managed to survive everything.
Sorry guys, orcs is cancelled.
Yeah, Bilbo actually had to take back everything piece by piece.
Fuck, I touched the nerve.
So yeah, Bilbo will have to do some redecorating again. Again, it's a one thing that Tolkien wanted to say about even if you defeat an enemy in a war, war can still arrive at your home in some kind of way.
I guess in this case we actually got it, unlike in the Lord of the Rings trilogy movie. Although,
Especially since in the book it was like this, not long enough.
have fun tracking down all your stuff.
He will. Some things will have to be bought, actually.
Damn, outright looted.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, suddenly it's getting extra bright out. JJ.
Oh god, because you imagine J.J. Abrams directing these films would be even more convoluted.
Well, at least for the time being, he has something, of possession or treasury.
A precious friend.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, of course.
And we transition back to old Bilbo.
Oh,
Yay.
I remember this.
Yeah, of course.
And this is where the Fellowship of the Ring starts to pick up.
Starts pretty much. Again, it's pretty neat, it's tied together.
Hey, Smaugh.
Yeah, in the book it's said that the map was actually, drawn by him, by Bilbo himself. Anyway, that's pretty much it. No post-credit scene. Bilbo will not be invited in the Justice League initiative, so go ahead, Lives.
Okay. I'm rather mixed on this film, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
On one hand, the action is a lot of fun. Yeah, all the actors are giving it their...
sorry, Lives. By the way, this song at the end, sung by Billy Boyd, the actor Pippin.
I mean, all the actors are giving it their everything, especially Free. And the ending is nice, how it ties into the first film. And I think the CG's gotten a lot better.
Keep also in mind, Lives, like you said, that apparently a lot of things that were bad in the theatrical cut and got fixed in the extended one.
Suppose it could be a good example. It's like how anime look better on DVD and Blu-ray than what they do on TV.
Also, yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch was also playing Sauron for the sequence of a Necromancer.
Okay. Unfortunately, it's hampered by a few things. Some bits and pieces really don't go well together. Like having the Weasley servant guy all of a sudden descend into bloody weird comedy,
Mm-hmm.
and he dies in this version. I mean,
Mm-hmm. There
there's
it is.
all the there's all again, and then there's the guy whose only personality is that he's fat, and again he's still got all those typical jokes, quote unquote.
I mean, to give him credit, he had a character outside of just being fat. It's that they focused a lot on it. And like I said, at least he still got to kick butt and he wasn't just an oaf.
And unfortunately, while I will still say that Love Triangle stuff wasn't as intrusive as I thought it was going to be, the dialogue in said Love Triangle was still like I know the executive meddled that thing into the movie, but I highly doubt very much that that Warner Brothers mandated. Oh, by the way, make the dialogue suck. It's like that kind of executive meddling is like a Legend of Korra. Like I can believe a lot of the executive meddling happening in that, but at the same time, I don't believe Nickelodeon handed down a mandate saying, "Oh, by the way, make Korra unlikable for half the series." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Korra was a piece of work until, like, the midpoint of Season 2. And even still, they had to practically kill her and give her amnesia to make her a better character.
And it's not, and the kind of work like that isn't that much better here.
I do get what you mean. While a lot
The
can
only
be
difference
blamed,
is when one of them dies, it doesn't come back.
I get what you mean. While a lot can be blamed on the executive mandates, you can still tell that some of these might have been Jackson and Company's faults. Still.
Yeah. It's like yeah, you were told to do something, but that doesn't give you an excuse for doing it badly. And that's kind of the problem as well, I feel. I mean, yeah, sure, you can blame most of it on the executives, but if you just absolve the other people of blame when some things are their fault, who knows what's going to happen later on? Again, I mean, Legolas is okay by me normally, but it's like what Tio said. He gets more OP every time he shows up, and it culminates in that bloody stupid Mario section.
Yeah. Also, D. Bradley Baker was one of the voice grants for the enemies in the Beast. Sorry, go on.
And I know what people are gonna say, but Dwibs, this series has magical monsters fighting each other, pinpoint accurate bow and arrows, and other bits of magical pieces. And how come you found that bit distracting? Well, you see, there's a thing called internal logic as well. I mean, you can be all fantastical if you want, because it fits with the logic in the universe. That's totally fine. It's like I'm Fast and Furious, for example. You know, things have been escalating more often to the point where people are actually looking forward to Fast and Furious 9 going to outer space, when earlier on that thing would have been seen as idiotic.
Ironically, I'm kind of opposite when it comes to this.
Like in Moonraker, for example.
Yeah, ironically, I'm opposite when it comes to this because I'm more accepting onto this, but I can't stand Fast and Furious.
Wait. So what you're saying is that you're okay with what Legolas did?
Well, more than Dweebs, for what it's worth.
Fair enough.
And yet we have Legolas who's so light on feet, he can somehow defy gravity.
It's not even that, Dweebs. It's a matter of time slow because the rocks would have fallen in a faster way.
So either Legolas has the power of Neo, or or Peter Jackson forgot how gravity works. I like
That's how you know why the Matrix is alive, because we can create a decent world for the humans.
Yeah, I know, right? The score, that's the saddest thing. I found if it's not reusing themes from early movies, I found a lot of the score in this movie really forgettable, which is sad. It's from Howard Shore. It's like, that's a sad thing. When you get composers who you know could do a lot of good work. And yeah, I think his score for Mrs. Doubtfire was more memorable. That's a movie about Robin Williams in a heavy old woman disguise trying to see his kids. Is there anything else I can mention?
What's your in-war favorite, or at least the more tolerable of the three?
This one, funnily enough.
Really?
So I guess we switch position. You prefer the third one, or I the second one?
Yeah, because yeah, the second one is a lot faster pacey, but it still had a lot of the problems with the first movie. This one got rid of a lot of the problems of the first movie, and yes, it did have its own problems, but they weren't as intrusive as in the other two movies.
Also, you didn't have the Gatridian endings of Return of the King.
Oh yeah, I could actually leave if I saw this. Okay, not this extended cut, obviously. But if I was in the cinema watching this, I could at least know that my bladder wouldn't explode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, Waves, not really, because I'm actually more, resistant towards that. Go on.
Good for you. But I mean, that's about it. As for the trilogy as a whole, yes, it is a massive step down from Lord of the Rings, and like the story isn't as strong, or neither are the characters for that matter.
And the pacing.
A lot of the action, while fun, comes off as more video gamey than the other films. And it seems a bit weird, though. I mean, the stakes are lower in this movie. I get that. But it is still odd that the action was a lot cartoony here.
I get the
compared to Lord of the Rings.
I get
even with the scene in Two Towers where Legolas skateboards downstairs.
It's kind of a thing with prequels here. Like, sometimes a prequel does want to be able to match up to its technical successor here.
Big shoes to fill.
So, yeah. So, in doing so, they try to make it big. The problem is that when you're dealing with a prequel, if you make stuff seem this big, you run the risk of making, what was supposed to have been the bigger stakes, that being the first installment, seem like small potatoes. Case in point, Professor Layton and the Azran Legacy. Long story short, it's not a terrible story, but the problem with Azran Legacy is that it feels like the stakes are so gigantic that I cannot buy for a second that no one ever brought up the events of that, and also it unfortunately makes the original trilogy feel way smaller by comparison, which I don't always think is a good thing. I feel like, it should be done in a way where, yes, a prequel can be tough, but it shouldn't seem like it was a bigger thing to deal with than the previous one.
I'll get you back on this when we get to that game.
That said, unless story does make sense in context for that.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I don't know. I found the Star Wars. If we're comparing this to the Star Wars prequels, since they're both prequels, and we're mostly one guy's vision. I think I found the Star Wars prequels more consistent, if you know what I mean.
And arguably more interesting. That's not to say that these were bad or anything, but
Science fiction is a natural advantage over straight-up fantasy. Also remember that.
It does have that too.
Also, I will take the Roman subplot in this over Anakin and Padme every single day.
Well, Tio, there is one similar thing between this one.
What?
Shitty dialogue.
Okay, maybe true, but I haven't found anything that was just as awkward as stuff like I just wish I could wish my
Well,
fear
okay,
away.
okay, Tia, I'll put it this way. George Lucas at least knows words other than
God.
along with the other writer in episode two's case, but I digress. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the acting was worse in the in the prequels, but I found the stories there at least more interesting. If it all they needed was just better execution. Here, the stories weren't all that interesting, and cobbled together with, I think, in some cases, even worse characters. like the black bearded guy, like he was either boring or an insufferable twat. And I'm like, I know what you're gonna say, but Twibs, didn't you find it boring? I'm like, yeah, but the solution wasn't making him an insufferable twat, only to all of a sudden not be an insufferable twat after one silly dream sequence. If it was even that. And all the other characters were just there. I remember General Grievous more than these guys.
My memory of Dave Comer. Sorry, gone.
And honestly, yeah. Okay, there is one thing that's similar between this and the prequels are the effects, in that they weren't that good to start with, but got better over time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and also and also one thing that was similar, it did kind of tank the reputation of the creators, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
More so Peter Jackson, really, I feel, George Lucas, because I mean, at least George Lucas was able to stick around for a bit in the background doing other things with the series, whereas Peter Jackson, he had Mortal Engines after this, and that was a gigantic failure.
So now, for the time being, he's doing documentary. We'll see if he manages to get back on his saddle or not.
I do wonder if the reason that this arguably hurt that this arguably hurt Peter Jackson more was because, I mean, with time, the prequel trilogy could be seen as complex and, in a way, something that does still give what it did promise here and there. Like, this and that. The Hobbit trilogy, well, like we've mentioned, the Hobbit trilogy had both, not only promising to give a good prequel, but also being a good adaptation of a book here and there. And while it does arguably get the adaptation stuff down right, it does come with its caveats here. Like Teal has mentioned, apparently most book fans hate Movie 3 because of it.
Because it takes too many liberties.
Yeah, essentially.
Well, I mean, me personally, I wouldn't mind stuff taking liberties just as long as it fits with everything else going on around it. That'd be fine. And I haven't read the book, but I heavily doubt that that one of J.R.R. Tolkien's secret intentions was to see how many times he could cram the word love into a single scene.
No. Also, I have an intro that you may not even like the book because, like I said, it's written in a very awkward manner.
I mean, sometimes people's writing just either doesn't click with certain people, or it doesn't age well.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, I'm not talking about questionable opinions.
Obviously.
In this case, it's just how you write things. But yeah, overall, the trilogy as a whole was just a massive disappointment. I mean, yes, sure, it's on some level, it's pretty good, but overall, it just doesn't live up to the Lord of the Rings films, which I suppose I mean, which I would be so hard on if it were interesting, but it weren't. That's the saddest thing, really. But hey, they're done now, and there was even the extended versions, so I don't have to watch these films anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And we can move on, hopefully, to better stuff, like Mortal Engine, though.
How about the animated Lord of the Rings and Hobbit?
Well, I was curious to see how they were. I mean, I haven't seen them.
Another time.
And the animated Lord of the Rings films as well. I'm just not looking forward to the marching band music, but there you go.
Another time.
All right.
I'll go next. Like I said, this is a mess at the end of the day.
The trilogy as a whole or the movie?
Both.
Mm.
Like I said, this is still my least favorite. The action scene is very good. I argue as a big fight scene that happens. This is technically, I'm gonna say something that it might be very arguable. I argue this gigantic fight scene is better than the one at the end of Endgame. Just throwing it out there. In Endgame, you're more connected to the characters involved, aside from the villain, obviously. In here, it's more the action scene, the type of violence distributed, the events that happen, and so on. The love triangle just sucks. Ifrit is a terrible character. Again, there are things done right in changing stuff or adding more stuff, but a lot of this is just filler that doesn't have any place here. The one thing that I will defend to my day is the battle against the Necromancer. I was always hoping we would have seen this on the big screen. I was not disappointed, and it's a good send off to Christopher Lee, to be honest. He probably got the best out of all the actors involved in these movies. Sorry. Then again, there are these weird changes like Beorn totally appearing for just 1 second at the end of the battle instead of actually being the one killing Bolg. Legolas doing his death-defying jumps. Like you said, I'm more tolerant to it, but it doesn't change the fact that it's goofy even for his standards. But again, props to the movies to show me in a more position of danger, for a change. Toriel's character could have been savage so easily, but no, they had to do this stupid love shtick. I agree with Waves, the dialogue is atrocious on that front. The one thing that they got it right is Bilbo at the end of the day, basically. Thankfully, it's there. Martin Freeman, once again, says the character. Props to the other actors as well in general. Like I said, each of them seems competent enough. The acting seems fine for the most part. The Talent Dove is a bit worse compared to One Lord of the Rings. There are also some recycling. Pippin's voice actor is in this and voices one of the dwarves. Speaking of which, nice also for the song at the end. The one song that I think wasn't fitting was at the end of the second movie. But this one song by Billy Boyd is actually quite nice. But that's it. That's this trilogy in a nutshell. Now, every time I will see this movie again, it will probably be the extended cuts. I will not be as religious as I am with Lord of the Rings, but I will still see these movies in the future. They've been a mess and a disappointment, but I still enjoy them to some degree, and I do believe they're still a solid adaptation until, we got a better one. Something really we can keep as a cornerstone until something better arrives. That's it. Also, yes, I forgot. I love also the score in general from our show when it's present. Sometimes we have this moment where it just stops for some reason. But anyway, that's it. Jova.
Okay. I'll just start this by saying that, yeah, I agree with Dwibs. I think I prefer the Star Wars prequels over these prequels. Again, not to knock these prequels down too much, but it does feel like they're trying to juggle a lot of things and do fall into a bit of pit traps here. Like, yeah, okay, I won't fault them for raising stakes on certain characters, even though we know they're going to survive, because, hey, assuming that somebody hasn't seen the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, you should treat it just as so. That being said, this movie does risk feeling like at some points for what's supposed to be a smaller threat than the Ring Wars with Sauron, some things do feel like they risk being a bit bigger than Lord of the Rings, especially with how bombastic and how out there this movie and the trilogy as a whole likes to go with things. Again, you could argue they were still trying to entertain folk. The problem comes in the pacing. That said, though, this movie in particular was the only time I did not feel any pacing problems whatsoever. Okay, now, don't get me wrong. I could tell that they were adding in stuff that did not need to be there, and they were technically trying to pad out the runtime of this movie. That said, though, it does still pace well enough that I do feel that stuff flows. Again, that's not addressing the issue, but for this movie in particular, I'd argue the pacing is the best here. That doesn't necessarily mean this movie is the best, though. It still does have its issues here, because, don't get me wrong, in regards to story, you're mainly getting a big battle sequence. Now, thankfully, that battle sequence does manage to carry enough weight here. The stupid love scenes notwithstanding, like, seriously, Torioli and Keely's romance not only dragged down the plot, it went nowhere. Except, I guess, maybe it's to help show how the wood elves become better because love and all that. Like, look, if you're gonna have this romance, have them, have it pay off. I guess, granted, anyone who was a book fan probably knew that romance was gonna be doomed anyway, because,
Yeah.
Keely dies, so...
Keely was supposed to die anyway, so...
Like, maybe they were planning to have Toriel go crazy or something? Nah.
Or die along him or something, nah.
Yeah, like, I felt like they were gonna have her die alongside him, but, no. It's just nothing. That being said, aside from that, though, I do like the effects, I do like the action, and overall, I do like how this stuff does relatively tie stuff up in a bow here. I think, like I said, though, what's weird is how Smaugh, who was essentially our main threat, is dealt with in, well, before the title even comes up here. Like, it feels weird. It's like if we defeated Sauron in, like, the Two Towers, and then just had to deal with, I don't know, these random orcs for the entirety of the third film.
Or just throwing out here. Well, no, okay, I'm not doing that.
No, go on.
Okay, I'm gonna regret this. Or just like how we killed Snoke 2/3 in, and the rest is for another villain.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and like you said, that was a thing that Tolkien himself did, though, so... Technically,
like you said, not a conventional writer at all.
Which does make me wonder if... Okay, look, with Lord of the Rings, I can get why they were trying to be as faithful as possible. So, because Lord of the Rings feels like it was a much more conventionally made story, arguably. But with The Hobbit, I do wonder if maybe it might have been better if they had tinkered around with stuff here and there a lot more than they did.
Technically speaking, they did.
Well... I guess I'm talking more so in the sense of moving certain... They did that too, technically. Okay. What I mean... Well, okay, I guess I should just say it. Do it better, then. Like...
Yeah.
I feel like the stuff that they actually did mess with did not need to be messed with for the most part. Adding in certain things here and there, padding out the runtime here. Okay, of the trilogy, the first movie feels like the thing that's padded out for the sake of being intro. The second one feels like that's where all the meat is. The third one feels like the nice cherry on top, essentially, where, yeah, technically it does the least amount of work, but gosh dang it, you may be the thing you remember the most. I'd say the third film is simultaneously where the most happens and where nothing happens. It's so paradoxical and weird. The music is good. The actors are definitely all trying. It's weird. I don't want to call this movie bad. Like, technically this movie did its job to cap off the trilogy, and okay, if I'm correct, this movie itself was essentially the biggest executive mandate of the bunch here. Like, wasn't this originally supposed to be a duology? Like, I definitely recall hearing where that
like you said, yes.
Because, yeah, okay, so, giving them credit...
This was also the movie that essentially broke the last straw from the camel's back and had the Tolkien estate just deciding to subcontract other companies for future adaptations and video game tie-ins.
I can sadly see why. Look.
Mind you, Warner Bros. Still has some degree of control, as they're also during is part of the deal for the Amazon series. And we got 2 decent video games so far that are published by Warner Bros. But other companies are also sinking their teeth into it.
But yeah, look, I'm not gonna act like this trilogy is the worst thing ever, but I can definitely see why this trilogy would be what made Warner Brothers start to lose control of it, because, well, this trilogy is a mess. Like, and I'd argue a worse mess than the prequel trilogy. The prequel trilogy knows what it's doing. It can be very clumsy about it, but for the most part, it knows what it's doing, and for when it came out, people were definitely interested. Like, yeah, you could maybe argue that, oh, that's partly because it wasn't based off of some book or something. But no, I mean, honestly, the prequel trilogy did know how to mix stuff up here and there. The first one is an interesting lore world building about. The second one arguably has a nice mystery or crime drama going for it, with Obi-Wan hunting down Jango Fett here. And the third one, yeah, the third one's definitely the best of the prequel bunch, but it's
a war movie, so yeah.
Yeah, like, they all feel like they come together as a story. This one, while it does feel like a story, each movie feels different in a way that, like, well, you can't help but wonder if they were made under different circumstances, and I don't necessarily mean that in a good way. Of these 3 movies, the first one would probably be the one that I would rewatch the least, because, like I said, the pacing absolutely was killing it for me in the first one. The second one is arguably where the most meat happens. It still does have some pacing issues here and there, and some plot points that really didn't need to be like this or that. So, weirdly enough, I might have to say that for all its faults and problems, the third film might be my favorite, because technically, that's the movie that gets to end things proper here. It deals with Smaugh, it deals with the Five Armies, it deals with a Zog, it deals with Balog here and there. Like, unfortunately, in them trying to make a third movie, the second movie feels like it just peters out when it really could have solved things all on its own, honestly. So, yeah, technically the third one of these was my favorite. And that's not to say it was the best one, though. I would argue that the most well-put-together one was definitely The Desolation of Smaugh, because that one feels like that's where business happens. But the one I enjoyed the most was the third one, because I won't lie, it did feel like we were actually getting the most somewhere in the third one. Which is more so a reflection of how this trilogy was made here and there. Look at the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Those flowed well with their locations, destinations, and ends. This feels very abrupt. Like, I've said it before and I'll say it again. With the Lord of the Rings trilogy, each movie does feel like it could literally be its own story, which, yes, I know technically it was, but I mean in the sense where technically you could pick one of these up and think of it as the beginning, middle, and end, essentially. Now, don't get me wrong, they're best when they all came together, but they each were strong on their own. Not so much with this trilogy. Like, for as much as I do think that the second one is the best one put together, you still would need to see the first one to get the best enjoyment out of it. And even then, unfortunately, you won't get that payoff until you see the third film, because, like I said, 2 literally feels like a midsection. Like, okay, if they had killed Smaug off in 2, that might have been my favorite. But they didn't, so yeah. Again, how much of that is the second film's fault of... Well, okay, no. Again, that is all the fault of trying to split The Hobbit into 3 movies. I get 2, but 3? Still, at the end of the day, like I said, I enjoyed this movie the best, so at least I can say it went out on a high note for me.
I get the idea that I just get an intro that the more time passes, the more these movies will have a vindicated by history effect of some kind. Not in the sense that everyone will say that are hidden masterpieces, but I get the idea that in time people will start remembering them more fondly.
Oh, true. I do think that maybe a lot of the backlash would have come from people seeing these in in theaters, because movie ticket prices are not cheap, mind you. So if you get a real stinker for something that you paid and expected it to be as great as, say, Lord of the Rings, I definitely get that. Also, people had to wait for at least a year each time, so if they were disappointed with the payoff, yeah. I do feel that it's definitely best to watch these back to back to back like we did. It does soften the blow a bit. Also, in being able to get them cheaper now as well. But yeah, that was the Hobbit trilogy. We had fun, we had some laughs, we had some anguish and sorrow, but at the end of the day, it is yet another chapter of our many, many, many series that we cover closed.
Well, we still have the animated adaptations to see. Who knows how they turned out to be.
True. We will see you then
Maybe
for that.
we'll save for one of those. Yeah.